right now, here with this microphone, there's certain stuff I just can't say. There's triggers. There's big tech is just lording over their algorithm. And if I just say the wrong thing, big tech will cancel me.
I don't think that I could have taken any more than what we had at that exact point.
They were thinking that it was going to be easy. They had no idea that I had the gauntlet prepared for them.
At that moment, I was panicking inside.
There isn't no crying in real life.
It's just kind of hard balancing those emotions in the moment. Like in the moment, it's not constructive criticism and it's not coaching. To me, it's like you're picking on me.
Someone is really trying to hurt you, trying to end your life. There is no room for crying.
I'm afraid to fight somebody.
I'm not gonna let this person beat me.
One day, I will be canceled. This account is going to be deleted, and it will be done because my views aren't towing the party line. I'm recognizing more and more people are being canceled as cancel culture and radical lefty agenda is going up, and I'm not being alarmist. It's not because I'll be profane. It's not because I'm not being family friendly. It's not because I'm inciting violence in any way. I mean, we deal in firearms and training, but it's not because we want violence. It's because we love people and we want to be able to protect them, and that's our deal. And so regardless of what propaganda is put against me and the reasons that big tech or the media will give you in order to cancel me, the writing is on the wall. I will be canceled. We will lose this platform. I value freedom. I'm a freedom fighter. That's kind of what Warrior Poet even stands for. And so I realize I am a target by big tech, by Hollywood, by the media, and now by the large part of the federal government. I'm going to be canceled. I realize that. However, there is this wonderful ace in the hole that you and I have, and it's this. We have a very powerful vote with our money. You've heard the expression, get woke, go broke, and it's the most powerful thing we can possibly deliver. I just found out with great joy that the NFL is experiencing some of the lowest ratings they've had since the 1960s. I like this because if you get woke, you go broke. And so all these players can kneel and protest because they hate America and they hate our flag and they don't want to do the Star-Spangled Banner and honor our country, which, yes, it has its faults and we should fix it. Not because we hate our country, but because we do love our country. We love our country, and so we want to fix the issues we have. And so we can still rally around that. And see, even now, I'm starting to come off, and I feel bullied as well by all the different indignant, fragile people that are so easily offended. Just bubble-wrapped individuals, snowflakes that can't handle any dissenting view and want to immediately cancel us and go after anyone that has the audacity to differ ideologically. There's no conversation that happens anymore. It's like, you disagree, and then the mob comes after you and cancels you. It's the death of freedom is what's at stake. It's the First Amendment where we can have the right to peacefully assemble, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, but now even speech, I feel it right now here with this microphone. There's certain stuff I just can't say. There's triggers. There's big tech is just lording over their algorithm. And if I just say the wrong thing, big tech will cancel me. If I say the wrong thing with you guys, you'll immediately just unfollow me forever because I happen to step on the wrong little red flag. There's all these tripwires all over the place. And that's the whole point of this, is to make us all like a little Gestapo where we're afraid of each other and we mob each other. And everyone's so pathetically weak that we're offended so easy. I had this mental picture coming into work today of it's almost like we're all walking around with eggshells and bubble wrap on us. And there's this competition to figure out who can be the most fragile offended victim. And meanwhile, I saw like these construction workers in a corner, calloused hands, gruff, and they're wondering what in the world is happening as they're looking on to watch our fragility contest to see who can be the most offended, who can be the biggest victim. And it's all of a sudden, in a rush, I realize that courage is not something that's looked up to anymore. It's like courage itself isn't a virtue we're celebrating anymore. Instead, it's how big of a victim can you be? How offended can you be? How outraged can you be? And that's the new virtue. And it's cheap virtue because it's not virtue at all. Virtue is standing for something. And oftentimes socially and politically, it's saying something that other people won't like, and it will cost you something. It costs you nothing socially to come out as lefty or woke or anti-establishment, anti-parents, anti-authority, anti-capitalism, it costs you nothing. I don't think I can even say that, can I? Even there, I'm kind of like, can I say that? Can I say that? I feel this pressure on me where I can't just speak my mind. And that means freedom of speech is under attack whenever you can feel that muzzle of political correctness on you. And that's the muzzle. It's to take what would normally be just seen as truth or your perspective. You can't say that anymore. And that's what fascists do. They have a couple different steps. One, to eliminate your ability to speak truth plainly as you see it. And the second thing is to take away guns. And because fascism can't survive those two things. And that's why our founders put it as our first two amendments. So order of business, 2 steps. Step 1, protect the right to freely speak truth. And step 2, give people guns. Fascism can't overcome those two things. And so whoever attacks those things with however they church it up of like, oh no, it's for your safety, it's for protecting people's feelings, it's to eliminate hate speech, you can church it up any way you want, but that is the end game. It's fascist calling everyone else fascist unless you give up your right to free speech and guns. That's the game. Wake up. Gina Carano, star of The Mandalorian, was just canceled. She lost her career because she had the audacity to have a conservative tweet that was really just asking a question. I'll read the tweet for you. She wrote this: because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. That's what the government does. Divide and conquer. Let's make each other hate each other. If they can divide us, along socioeconomic lines or political lines or racial lines or sexuality lines, any way that they can divide us, make it chaotic, and then they'll step in and be like, we will save you, just give us more power and control. And that's the game. It's Marxism's oldest trick. It's to divide and conquer. It's all about power. That's all this is about. It's fascism calling the other side fascist as they do what fascists do. It's insanity. Let me go on here because I didn't even get through her whole tweet. The government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. And then she asks, how is that any different from hating someone for their political views? She just asks a simple question. She gives a historical fact that, hey, Nazi Germany, what they did is they turned the Germans against each other. They turned the communities against each other. And then the government was able to come in. How is that different than the political games we're playing now? She's exactly right. But it didn't match Disney Plus's woke agenda, and The Mandalorian show dropped her. And I hate that because I love The Mandalorian. That's a fun show. Me and my family gather around. And here's some guilty indulgences. I have certain values. I recognize some of these big Goliath companies like Netflix or Disney. Their worldview is completely antithetical to mine. They're radical lefties, and I'm more middle-of-the-road traditional values, just the old school stuff that the constitutional founders, in their wisdom, put in stone so that fascism wouldn't be able to survive. That's the stuff that I love, and I'm going to invariably get canceled for. But here I'm watching these gargantuan companies, Disney Plus and Netflix. Netflix lost me when they launched their show Cuties. Here it sexualized little girls. And whereas I think pedophilia and child pornography, all of that stuff is a terrible, awful evil, here this is something that could very easily make that worse. I see that as a very horrible moral decline, though people on the radical left see this as a brave and cool thing of like, not for me, I'm voting with my dollars. Netflix, goodbye forever over this show. You're going to keep that show, you lose me. And Netflix ratings went way down over this. Get woke, go broke. It's one of the best things that we have as we vote with our dollars. Disney just lost me as well. And I loved them because me and my boys would get together and we'd watch Star Wars together and The Mandalorian, which now Mandalorian's gone. Have fun with your 3rd season, which we will not be watching because you wanted to cancel Gina Carano. You have the right to do that. Fantastic. And I have the right to not fund your assault on traditional values. There was a time when people used to read books. I'm not saying that tongue-in-cheek or anything. I'm saying literally, like, people may buy books now, but people really just aren't reading books. That's not happening. There's a time when philosophers used to stand up and give great speeches to sway the minds of the public as they pushed for truth, and that's gone too. But now the main places where the philosophers speak, it's through film. It's through movies, it's through TV shows, it's through our school system. And so that right there has gone very, very left, which means these are the philosophers teaching our kids. And you wonder why you raise them in a conservative or Christian home, and then they go off to school, liberal arts school, to learn how to hate capitalism, hate any religion, hate any authority figure, hate their country, and hate all the things that you raised them to like. And they're all saying the exact same thing, thinking they're progressive, when they're extremely monolithic. If give me any liberal arts student, I know exactly all the different little pieces that they do. And what do you do with these people once they graduate a liberal arts school with tens of thousands, if not $100,000 of student debt, and they graduate looking for a job and they're secretly anti-capitalist? That means if you hire these woke liberal arts students, not only are they entitled, nearly worthless, highly uneducated, but with a degree thinking that they're educated, they're secretly rooting against your company. It's like, man, that sounds really bad. Can I just have somebody that didn't go to college? It seems like I'd do better off without the college crew. Now, another show my family and I have loved watching is Shark Tank. I like my boys watching this because they get to think about business. Me and my wife are placing bets on what people are going to get deals and what the sharks are going to counter back with. And so I think it's just a fun little venture in capitalism kind of show. One of the sharks is a guy named Mark Cuban. He's a billionaire. He's the owner of the NBA team, the Dallas Mavericks. Recently, though, Mark Cuban has said the Mavericks will no longer play the national anthem before games. This is a clear anti-American woke move, and I'm so disappointed in, hey, just, man, be a shark. Why you got to go woke and anti-America in a land where you made billions of dollars? You're the great American dream success story that you would turn and bite the hand that feeds you with this woke anti-American nonsense. You lost my respect, man. And so now all these different shows, whether I'm trying to watch NFL football, whether I'm trying to watch The Mandalorian or something on Netflix or Disney Plus, these platforms which are against just traditional values, they're increasingly getting more and more woke, and they're canceling folks. Big tech, government, and media are all colluding together to cancel any voice that dissents, anyone that disagrees. They just cancel and literally eliminate your career. And I'm not going to be any different. They're going to take some little soundbite, make a caricature of me, to quote me way out of context, or they just silently cancel me. Parler was a platform that was just to be an open platform, but conservatives flocked there because it looked like we weren't going to be bullied, demonetized, censored, or any of that stuff, shadow banned, all the stuff that I have to deal with on a daily basis being on big tech's platforms. And then big tech got together, literally colluded, to cancel Parler. Super terrible stuff. Now, some of you guys are under the erroneous impression that because the big platforms are private companies, they can do whatever they want. I'm like, well, hold on. They enjoy federal protections to be platforms, right? So you can't sue them and you can't hold them responsible for content on their platform. But then what's happened is a very odd thing. They are using the platform's indemnity, but then they're acting as publishers to discriminate against ideologies that they disagree with. Right? And so the problem with that is it's akin to like AT&T and Verizon Wireless listening to your phone call. You know, they're a private company. They allow you to use their phone services as a platform. But what big tech is doing would be like AT&T or Verizon listening into your phone call, not liking what you're saying on the other end. Say you're talking about some politics they don't like. So they disconnect the call and then collude together so that you can't have and get phone service anywhere. It's like that. And so they're literally cutting you out of the public conversation. In a day and age where 70% of all millennials and growing get all their news from social media, you can realize real quickly that if you're a social media company with a very narrow ideology, you can literally sway elections by just not reporting the news that you don't like and reporting the news that you do. You can decide what shows up in their feed, and no one can do anything about it because you enjoy legal indemnity. by being a platform but acting like a publisher. Super shady. Guys, it's quite easy to see the cancel culture going on. It looks like a rigged deck against us. It looks like our voices are being suppressed, silenced more and more and more. And then the question remains, well, what in the world can we do about it? Well, we can speak out, but the loudest way that we can possibly speak is with our money. Disney Plus will not get my money anymore. Netflix will not get my money. I'm not watching NFL. I'm not watching the Dallas Mavericks. I'm not supporting Mark Cuban and Shark Tank anymore. And this is a loud way, because if you want to get woke, that's fine. It's your right. And then you cancel us, which is incredibly unethical and evil. I get to vote with my dollars, and I'm not going to support those platforms anymore. And neither should you. We're coming to a place where you have to choose right now, what is more important, your entertainment or your values? And you don't get to speak and say what those are. You vote in your downtime. What do you do when you get off work? You turn on Netflix. You're against Netflix, but then you're funding the opposition, which will pull no punches to wipe your view and your values off the face of the earth. No mercy, take no prisoners is the radical left and woke agenda. So you got to vote with your dollars, guys. I'm excited to see some platforms popping up. Yes, we have our network, and we're doing the shows. This isn't a sales plug. I'm not trying to do that. I just want to talk about, hey, there's a culture war, and I'm more against that. But I'm personally subscribing to the Daily Wire. I really like them. They're doing some shows as well, and I really like the news that I'm seeing there. I'm paying more attention to Newsmax and Blaze TV, some of that stuff. Maybe you disagree. I don't care, but that's your right. How about this? Even if we don't rally around the same companies and support them, or you don't want to support us either, great. Just consider, how long do you want to finance the enemy in pursuit of your own entertainment and indulgence? I don't want to morally shame or anything either. I'm just asking the question. The moral shaming, I'll leave it to the lefties. Right? But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in this diatribe, this rant. But I'm upset. I'm tired of being bullied. I'm tired of feeling fit with this muzzle of political correctness in which free speech has died, where you're afraid to speak the truth and you're afraid to speak your mind. Be bold, guys. Be courageous. Don't be afraid to speak. The Bible says speak the truth in love. You can't really love if you're not speaking the truth. And so we need both of those, right? So anyway, guys, train hard, train smart, and stay free.